Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Cuba's had a lot of big blackouts because they're no longer getting oil and everything else from Venezuela. It's been a mess. Who better to talk about this, because President Trump did that magnificent move in Venezuela, filling us in on everything, is Congresswoman Maria Salazar. We love you. We miss you, Maria.
I know, Rita. Wonderful to be with you and with Kat.
Fill us in. What's the latest with Cuba? Because they're really getting the squeeze. And then we hear also that the president's been reaching out to President Trump saying, can we make a deal? Can we make a deal? What are you hearing?
Yeah, they always say the same thing, but we know they're scoundrels. We cannot make a deal with a thief. And that's what they are. And I understand that Marco Rubio is the best man next to President Trump in order to forewarn him that with the Cuban regime, there's nothing you can do except ask them, when are they going to leave? And that's exactly what's happening. We're just waiting for them to realize that their days are counted. They have hours to go. Yeah, and I think that it's going to be weeks, Rita, weeks.
That's what I was just about to ask you, because I saw a comment from one of the Cuban leaders saying, don't you dare basically step foot, America, on our soil. And then on the other hand, they're doing the backdoor channels. Do you think weeks? That would be, I mean, Maria, I would have tears in my eyes. I've been to Cuba a couple times. John and I were in Cuba, there together. I mean, that would be, what an amazing moment that would be.
What an amazing moment after 65 years of these people who are morally despicable, ruthless dictators who have crushed an entire nation for 65 years. Now is the time when the Cuban Americans in Miami, and I represent many of them, hundreds of thousands of them, I represent and in Congress, we're going to be able to see that island that should be Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, only 90 miles away from the shores of Miami. And look what it is. It's hell. Why? Because it's communists and the socialists and all these people that are in the business of power. That's all they want to do. They want to profit from themselves, and they don't want to give anything to the people. And unfortunately, in New York, you have someone who is a disciple of Fidel Castro, but look what is the end result.
Yeah, it's a mess, as we've been talking about. Ed Cox, your thoughts?
Yes, Mayor Mondani's party, the Democrat Socialists of America, they plan trips to Cuba, the great Cuba, and see the artists, see the wonderful this and the wonderful that. Come on. Sure. I've been down there.
Sure.
That was a long time ago in 87, but people just don't have any energy because they have no desire, because the government does not empower them to do the things they should be doing.
Have taken everything away from the Cubans, and now because of Donald Trump and because he understands that he has to rid the Western Hemisphere of this scorch, Venezuela, Cuba, and then Nicaragua. And then we will be a free hemisphere. And we thank him loudly and clearly for having had the fortitude and the desire to do this, an action that no other president, Republican and Democrat, starting with JFK, dared to do. Rid Cuba of communism.
You know, it is an amazing moment, Mariana, Congresswoman. I'm sitting here thinking about, you and I were texting, the day when all the stuff was happening with Venezuela. I had tears in my eyes. And to think that Cuba, after all this time, so close off our shore, talk about what that would do, not just obviously for there, but what it does for America, for our security. If Cuba turns, that would truly be transformative.
Of course, because Cuba is the mothership of evil. Look, Cuba is for the Western Hemisphere what the Ayatollahs in Iran are for the Middle East. It's the same school of thought. These are the Ayatollahs of the Caribbean. Don't let anyone fool you. And now we're doing the same thing to Havana, or we're doing to that regime the same thing that we're doing to Iran. Getting rid of them so that the Iranian people, so the Cuban people can determine for themselves their future in a democratic fashion. Open up the democratic game for the people to elect whomever they want to be governed by, not a bunch of thieves who are in the business of power. And they have been stealing everything the Cubans have for 60 years. No more. thanks to Trump.
Yeah,
they have run out of energy completely. Maduro is supposed to be defended by a whole bunch of Cubans. And when the Delta Force came in, it eliminated all 32 without them fighting at all. They have they have nothing left to them, and they're ready to cave completely.
Yeah. I very much appreciate this opportunity, and I think it's a glorious moment, not only for the United States, for the Cubans, but for the whole Western Hemisphere.
Yeah, this is a huge, huge deal. Well, Maria, we love you, and we so appreciate just your fight. And boy, if it turns in a few weeks, you're going to have a lot of crying Americans who are tears of joy. And especially, I can't even imagine in Florida just how much that would mean to the people in Florida. Wow.
The streets of Miami will be flooded with hundreds of thousands of Cubans, many of them I represent in Congress. Shouting and crying and celebrating and giving thanks publicly to the president for having taken this action.
Well, that's bravo. We love you, Maria.
Love you, Maria.
I love you too, and thank you for the opportunity. Looking forward to celebrate together.
That sounds great. That sounds great.